are the Warriors a little bit cocky with how they handled this last game? Per Steve Kerr, the Warriors had a conversation at halftime. And in that conversation, they determined that if the starters over the first 5 minutes don't play well, we're pulling them. Also, isn't this the most condescending way that somebody could talk about a really good performance by the Rockets last night? Here is Steve Kerr, head coach of the Golden State Warriors.
Carried over to our offense. It's hard to play offense when you're taking the ball out of the net every single play. They, at one point, I think at halftime, their effective field goal percentage was 95%. I've never seen that in my life. So you're not winning that game.
What was so?
He had a smirk while he said that. They're shooting like 95%. This is ridiculous. Honestly, I saw that. Steve Kerr triggers me. He shouldn't. Triggered Paul. There's something about him that it's the patronizing way that he talks about a lot of topics, one of which we'll get into in the next segment, and the lecturing as well. Like, F off, dude.
Although what he's basically saying is what we're saying, is that the way they shot in the first half
yes,
unsustainable?
Yes, but he can't say that. I mean, they weren't ready to go.
No,
he's the coach.
That's the thing. It's less about the shooting, and it's the Rocket shooting, and about the once you're already down 30 at halftime, being like, hey, we're going to give this 5 minutes and then pulling the plug. Like that, that's all like understandable. It is like how they entered the game. Like they entered the game. I think what they did was essentially go, hey, listen, the old Rockets teams, like with James Harden, maybe they no-show when facing elimination. Maybe they just make it easy for us, and we can just get in here, get an win. They kind of lay down, and we could. And then once they saw, like, oh, Amin Thompson's really angry, and he's really trying to win this, and a couple shots for Jalen go down early. That's when they're like, I think just mentally, and this happens in the playoffs,
for sure.
Where subconsciously, you're like, all right, we got another game in their back pocket.
But is that arrogance? I think it is.
It is.
I think it is. I'm sorry. They're not that good.
Yeah.
They're good. They've been here. They've done that. They're not that good.
Because they also did that in, I want to say, it was the second round series in 2022 against the Grizzlies. It was like almost the exact same scenario where they win game 3 and 4 close in Chase Center. Then they go to Memphis, and that Memphis beat them by like 45. Like Memphis killed them, and they came back and they won game 6 in a blowout. But I think Ja might have gotten hurt or something. He does that from time to time.
He does.
And so I had that in the back of my mind of like, maybe there's a little bit of a Warriors no-show. I didn't think it'd be that much of a, I don't even know if it was that much of a no-show combined with the Rockets. Just once they got the ball rolling, the confidence was just off the charts.
The Rockets brought a bazooka in, and the Warriors were
what
like,
you want to see.
Whoa, we thought this was a boxing match.
Yeah,
they brought gloves.
Hey, normally when we play the Rockets, the best player on the other team doesn't show up when they face elimination.
But I really think that they should have opened up this game doing full court press stuff, trying to level up the intensity, because, you know, for the first half and the second half of game 4, the Rockets look unprepared. In this game, the Warriors look unprepared from the start. And listen, I do not think that the Rockets are going to win tomorrow. Game 7, I will change my mind. I will think it's a coin flip. But you could have taken them out, and instead you just showed up thinking that they weren't going to show up. And I mean, listen, the Warriors, Ime Udoka is the head coach. He took the Celtics to the finals. You know that is not going to be a pushover team. You know that. And you know that they got some young players, and maybe Jalen Green's not going to be able to get it up. But you've seen Fred VanVleet before in the finals too. So, I mean, there's a couple of guys here that I do think the Warriors should at the very least have been aware of.
Yeah.
And it really did feel like they overlooked them.
Yeah, it's the team you've played for the last 4 games up to this point, up to last night, where like, hey, no matter what, and we talked about this, I forgot if it was Monday or Tuesday show after the losses in Oracle, where we're like, yeah, the Rockets like aren't ready in the like basketball IQ and having reliable offense way, but they're ready in the like mental fortitude of in game 4, they go down
Fought back both times.
by 15 to start both halves.
13-0, and then the 18-1 to start both halves.
Yeah, and then eventually come back and get a lead. I mean, they had a 7-point halftime lead, and I think they had a lead, or maybe they were just tied late in the fourth quarter in that game. So, like, this is a pretty mentally strong team.
Correct.
It's just a team that makes a lot of mental errors,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that if you're the Warriors, again, like, I mean, you mentioned that, like, they're not the 2022 Warriors. They're not the 2018 Warriors. Like, this is a good Warriors team, but I'm just stopping at good. And where arrogance kind of comes into is that, hey, the team you're playing is the Minnesota Timberwolves, assuming you win this series, and they're younger, deeper, and are going to have a rest advantage over you.
Yes, from the 8-3-2. I never understood why teams up 3-1 let up in game 5. I get you have 2 more games to close out, but wouldn't you rather go hard in game 5 and have more rest before the next series? Bingo. So a little cockiness going into it and a little cockiness leaving. Here's Jimmy Butler after last night's game talking about where the Warriors are.
Steve mentioned how you had that 3-0 lead against Boston, then ended up winning in game 7. What does it take from your experience to kind of rebound from something like this where you don't close the team out but then can do it later?
We're fine. Our confidence isn't going to waver any. We're going to start out better. We're going to play a better overall game because we know how good of a team we are as a unit. We know how good our players are as individuals. So we just got to, as starters, we got to kick us off better, which we know that we will do. We'll be fine.
It's basketball, and no one's confidence ever wavers. We know the Warriors are going to feel confident. However, we're fine coming out of that. I think that's an extreme thing to say, given that there have been 2 blowouts in this series. And you can say, hey, well, what about game 1? It was a 10-point game. And what about game 3? It was a 11-point game. But there have been 2 blowouts in this series, and the Rockets have been on the winning end of both of them. And last night, I mean, it was an ass kicking. So listen, I am not overlooking the Warriors. I have a great deal of respect for the Warriors, but I do think that the Warriors were a little bit cocky with how they went into last night's game and with how they're coming out of last night's game. And if I'm Ime Udoka, I am putting that Jimmy Butler quote on the board. I am putting the sneer that Steve Kerr had with his face, taking a picture of it, screenshot of it, putting that up on the board. Take whatever you can get, use it as fuel for tomorrow night's game.